Here we go. Well, we are so excited for today. Thank you, John Mendez, for sharing your knowledge and for sharing this next hour with us. For those of you who do not know John Mendez, we were lucky enough to get introduced. He's an incredible speaker and storyteller, and he's so engaging. And he's not even from Texas, where I am. And I had this huge event, and he was like, I know everything about AI and I can help you and I can speak. And he actually got on an airplane, no questions asked, and flew to Texas and spoke in front of like 100 people. And God, he was just so impactful and so helpful. And so as soon as I met him, I was like, I don't know who you are, but I need you in my life and my agents need you in their lives. And he's just been a blessing. So thank you, John, for being here today.
Amanda, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I think we went from not knowing each other at all to me randomly calling you and planning a flight within like 3 hours.
So fast. Yep.
Well, now we're here, so I'm super excited. Before you press record, for anyone watching on the live stream or anyone that wasn't here on the Zoom call, Amanda said she's seen a post talking about how most realtors think they know AI, but all they know is ChatGPT. I'm here to reassure you that that's for the most part all you need to know, right? We got into real estate to sell houses, not to become programmers and developers, right? We got into real estate to talk about our neighborhoods and be the local expert, not to be playing around with computers all day long, right? So yeah, there's a bunch of tools that can help you, but I'm big on simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And so I'm gonna make things simple for you. If you're not at a desk, make sure to go get a desk, go park up, go do what you can to get ready and listen to what I'm about to share. With that being said, I'm gonna share my screen and we're just kind of gonna get right into this.
Do it.
Let's see, advance portion of the screen, share. All righty. Okay. All righty. Let me adjust this a little bit. All righty. All right, Amanda, I see you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So my title for today's presentation is How to Never Get Replaced by AI, even if you're not tech savvy. For anyone that can't already tell, I'm from the Northeast, so I talk a little fast. I'm also Dominican, so that speeds it up even more. I got two multiples on my talking speed, but one of my favorite R&B songs, at the end of it, one of the singers said, "I'm not talking fast, you're just listening slow." So stick with me. I got a lot of gems to share with you, and there's always for those of us here, at least on the Zoom call, that's why you got to make sure you're here. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm going to open up to Q&A afterwards. So no rush. I'm here with you for the full hour, ready to drop some gems. So let's get right into it. So 4 years ago, I got my real estate license. At that time, I'm from Connecticut. So average price point, I forget what it's like in Houston. It's like three, four, 500,000. In where I'm at in Connecticut, average price point in my town is like 800,000. The town over is like 2.4. The other towns like 2.1. We got 1.9, 1.9, 750. Another town's 800. Just in this lower county that I'm in. So I was doing the math at that time. I'm 20 years old. I'm living with my grandparents. I was like, all right, if I just sell one house, I'm doing great, right? Let alone two or three, right? I just need to sell a couple of houses a year and I'm a big shot. And so that was my mindset getting into real estate. And I wanted to use that money to get into real estate investing and just become this huge real estate mogul. And so along the way, I started joining a bunch of free real estate groups and I would hop on their calls. Again, I have no experience prior to getting my license in real estate. So I would just sit in and listen to these people talk about what was working in their markets. And one day they decided to talk about social media. Now, again, at the time I was 20 years old, so I was like, finally, my chance to shine. I could share something, right? I grew up with social media, and so I ended up making this quick Facebook post with 5 simple tips on just social media and content creation. Now, this is back in 2022. I didn't think these tips were groundbreaking at all, to be totally honest. I'll read you one of them, right? Uh, People do business with people they like, know, and trust. What better way than to use video? Right? We could all agree that is not anything groundbreaking. That's almost kind of self-explanatory, almost kind of common sense, right? Nothing groundbreaking, but everyone loved it surprisingly. People started commenting, people started reaching out to me like, "Oh my goodness, John, like this is great. Thank you so much for sharing." And one of the co-hosts of this group was like, "Hey, John, do you mind teaching a class on this?" I was like, "Well, I never taught a class before." And she responded back, "Hey, John, let me know when you want it scheduled." So I was like, well, I can't tell her no twice. So I ended up putting together my very first class, intro to video. This first class had over 440 agents sign up for it. And as you can see by this little photo here, I had a whole lot more here back in the day. And so this kind of kickstarted this whole social media teaching journey that I went on. Originally, if I'm being honest, I would never had it in my mind to start a business teaching or coaching. My game plan was like, all right, I'm a realtor. If I teach these social media classes, all the realtors, when they think of Connecticut, are going to think of me and send me all the referrals. So this was originally a referral play. I was like, what better way to stick out than teaching these social media classes and get everyone's contact info so they send their referrals to me in Connecticut. And that's what kind of kickstarted everything. I started teaching more and more. And I remember my very first like actual coach that I worked with, he was like, John, you're doing real estate, you're doing these social media classes, you have a podcast, you're working at a restaurant, you're doing all these things, and you're not really focused on any one particular thing, and you're not getting the results that you want. Why don't you just double down on one thing? Now, at this point in time, I was already thinking about, letting real estate go and going all in on the social media classes. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. I'm going to start Stop and Stare Media. Now, at this time, Mendez, which was my last name, Mendez Media was taken for whatever reason, right? And I was like, well, what's the next best thing? So if you remember the photo of me here, back when I had this much hair, I used to have this catchphrase that said, stop and stare, just don't touch the hair. Right. And that's kind of was my claim to fame. I would go to all these events with this little shirt that says stop and stare, just don't touch the hair. So I was like, why not do Stop and Stare Media? Because anyone that knows me from back then knows from the old catchphrase. But also, when you create content, you need people to stop the scroll and stare at your videos so they can keep getting pushed out to more and more people. Right. And fast forward a little bit after starting that, this is my very first paid mentor. Now, at this time, I was using ChatGPT for my podcast. ChatGPT was maybe only a month and a half old at this point in time. Just barely over a month old. And I was already getting a good grasp, but in his mastermind, he had a course on how to use ChatGPT. And I remember at the end of it, he shared with him a screen recording of him using ChatGPT to create a class that I just watched on how to use ChatGPT. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy is genius. So I pretty much did the same thing. I used ChatGPT to create a webinar on how to use ChatGPT, and the rest is history. Since then, I've been going all in, traveling the country, teaching AI. That kind of kickstarted everything. And I'm here with you guys today to kind of share with you that the vehicle to double your business in the next 12 months is AI, right? Q4 is just getting started. Today is officially day one. Next month, most of us will start getting into business planning season. And so if you're not already using AI, if you are using AI, if you want to get better at using AI, no matter where you are in your journey of AI usage and business, AI is the key. You just have to go all in. Now, what does that look like, right? Well, person on the left over here, they have some Christmas decorations, right? For anyone looking, right? They maybe gave an effort. Person on the right, they went all in, right? No excuses. They clearly went all in, right? Person on the left here, they have a pet cat. Now, just to get a temperature check, let me know in the chat any cat owners here on the call. I want to know. All right, Crystal said she has a cat. Any cat owners? I want to see, make sure. Amanda has a cat. Amanda, you have a cat? I didn't know that.
Just one.
Just one? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, we always have a couple people. I just want to make sure. But to keep it going, lady on the right over here, she went all in, right? She's known as the cat lady in her neighborhood. And so all jokes aside, right? Tony Robbins has a saying, if you want to take the islands, you got to burn the boats, right? And so going all in is about burning your boats, right? How we did business before has changed. The industry is changing. And it's very interesting. Houston is so much more different than Connecticut. Like it's not a buyer's market at all up here. So it's so interesting going to travel and see all the different areas and all the different markets. Like Amanda, me and her were working together because I was looking for some houses in Houston and for a friend of mine. And like every house that I saw was on the market for at least like a month or two. Um, Versus here in Connecticut, like there is no options at all. So it's crazy how much everything is changing, no matter depending on where you are in the country. But yeah, that being said, who am I? I'll go through this very quickly again. Amanda did a quick intro. Again, I've been traveling the past 3 years all over the country teaching AI. It's primarily for real estate agents because I started off as a realtor and I saw that most of the AI classes was for programmers or developers who were teaching for other programmers and developers. There's a lot of techie people that come into our industry and try to teach the tech stuff, but they don't actually understand the day to day. They never hosted an open house. They never called a call that expires. They never called a FISBO, right? They never went circle prospecting. They didn't understand the business. And so I've been traveling, trying to help bridge that gap. And I even gave a TEDx talk. Right now, we're right about 75,000 views. And I'm just pretty much trying to share that message of how to never get replaced by AI. And my goal for today, now that I got through all the backstory, is for those of you who are already starting using AI, this is going to help really maximize your results, right? This is going to help make it even more personalized, even better. Right, and I got some sauce in here I haven't taught before at my last class that you saw me at Amanda in person. So you'll learn a thing or two. There's gonna be some new stuff for you as well. So I'm excited to teach that. And then for anyone who hasn't started using AI, this is gonna be the best first steps. Again, I'm big on simplicity. Simplicity scales, complexity doesn't. Right. So I'm gonna be talking about ChatGPT today specifically and showing you how to really get the most out of it because that is the start. If you get that tool down packed, you'll be able to use pretty much most other tools, right? Because ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot, DeepSeek, whatever you not, most of them work exactly the same. So what we're talking about today is going to be transferable to all those other tools, depending on, so it doesn't matter which one is your favorite, right? And I'm going to be covering three things, right? The first is my number one AI hack, how to write perfect prompts for every AI tool in a matter of seconds. The second is going to be the number one belief that's stunting your growth, right? We only grow as big as what's in between our two ears, right? The mindset is super important, especially as we're entering business planning season. And then the last secret is how to transform ChatGPT into the world's greatest personal assistant, right? Those are going to be the three secrets that I'm covering today. So make sure you stick around for the entire presentation, whether you're here with me live or watching the replay. You're not going to want to miss any bit of it. With that being said, are we ready to get into secret number one? Are we ready to get into the actual material for today? Let me know in the chat who's ready to get into it. Teddy said dog rules, cats rule. Teddy must be banned from all future classes. Amanda, keep note of Teddy. He must be banned. Permanently banned for Teddy. All righty. Jokes aside, let's get right into the actual meat of today, right? My number one AI hack, how to write perfect prompts for every AI tool. Again, doesn't matter if it's Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, you name it, it's all the same thing, right? In a matter of seconds. So and the big problem with most of these tools, they're called LLMs, right? Large language models. There are all these chatbot tools, is it's garbage in, garbage out. So a lot of people complain about, ChatGPT sounding very robotic, very generic, and it's always because their inputs weren't good. Now, there's a fancy thing called prompt engineering, right? I like to think of it as like the art and science of writing a prompt, right? And for anyone who's brand new to ChatGPT or AI or any sorts, you can think of prompts kind of like ordering at a restaurant, right? When you get sit down at a restaurant, your waiter comes up to you and asks, "Hey, Amanda, what would you like to order today?" And then Amanda would say, "Hey, I would like the three eggs and and bacon or whatever, sunny side up." And that'll then tell the waiter, who then goes to the chef and tells them what to make. Now, if Amanda didn't say, "Hey, I want my eggs sunny side up or over medium or over hard or whatever," right? And the eggs come back another way, who's at fault, right? Is it Amanda for not specifying? Is it the waiter for not, assuming and reading her mind, right? Is it the chef? And that's what the same thing with ChatGPT, right? A lot of people get mad at its responses, its results, but they're not being specific when they put in their prompts. They're like, "Hey, write me an email for this closing I got. Hey, help me come up with this offer for this new listing at 123 Main Street. It costs 50,000, 250,000 or something." Right? Very generic, very unpersonalized prompts, and then they get bad responses. Now, normally what I teach and what I taught in the first class Amanda saw me at was my four-step method for writing prompts I call the race method. Now, that requires a little bit of thinking. So I'm going to give you the shortcut. Say hello to the Godfather prompt. So I found this prompt, I think, well over 2 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I've taught it and then kind of It's one of those prompts I kind of keep in my hidden tool belt, but I want to share it with you guys all. This is the actual prompt right here. I'll read it for anyone that's watching or driving and can't look, right? It says, I want you to become my prompt creator. Your goal is to help me craft the best possible prompt for my needs. This prompt will be used by you, ChatGPT. You will follow the following process. Your first response will be to ask me what the prompt should be about. I will provide my answer, but we will need to improve it through continual iterations by going through the next steps. Yada, yada, yada. Long story short, I pretty much tell the AI what I'm working on, and then it'll ask me questions to get more specific, and then it'll use that to come up with a prompt for me that I can just copy and paste back into it. So what we talked about just now is called reverse prompt engineering, right? Using the AI tools against itself, kind of like what I talked about when I used ChatGPT to create that class on how to use ChatGPT way back 3 years ago. That's what we're going to get into today. And when you do this properly, you can use this for literally anything. So I use it to help me come up with YouTube scripts, right? YouTube titles, YouTube descriptions. I used it to help me come up with stuff for my podcast, right? I've been using ChatGPT for my podcast for the past 3 years now, right? For the episode notes, the show notes, the episode titles. I've used it to plan in-person events. So for anyone that wants to do a home buyer seminar, or let's say you're doing a client appreciation event as we come to start wrapping up the year, right? This event right here had, I think if I'm not mistaken, 62 people attended, right? ChatGPT helped me plan everything from the Eventbrite landing page to the reminder emails to the emails to get people to register to the Eventbrite listing page to pretty much the actual event itself. I have a giveaway. If you can see in the back left corner, right, there's a wheel with a bunch of names. Help me plan a giveaway for the event. Like the whole thing was helped plan with AI and a good friend of mine as well. And so now you're probably thinking, John, all right, how can I apply this to me? Right? What's in this for me? How can I apply the Godfather prompt for my business today so I don't leave with a bunch of random notes and never actually use any of it? Well, here's how, right? In real estate, we talk about a MOFR, right? A make offer for immediate response. One of my favorite terms is MIFKI, right? Most incredible free gift ever. You can call it a lead magnet if you want to be simple and stick to the basics. But long story short, we're all familiar with offering up something in exchange for people's contact information, right? So if you have clients, you can create like a ebook, you can create a PDF, you can create a market stat sheet, whatever it is. This will help you come up with something for your specific audience, right? Doesn't matter if you're in luxury, if you work with sellers, you work with investors, it'll help you come up with that. This prompt right here was created with the Godfather prompt, right? All of us here scripts and role play, right? We probably scripts and role play with a partner, but sometimes your partner is busy, they got family, they're going for a drive, you can't get access to them. Well, you can hop on ChatGPT, copy and paste this prompt. ChatGPT has a voice mode. And so now you can have a scripts partner
Rồi
with
em
ChatGPT.
có online luôn nếu bạn ngồi học được không sao hết.
Sounds like someone having fun over there. You gotta love Zoom. You gotta roll with it though.
A dull
But
moment.
you can have a scripts and role play partner, right? And use ChatGPT and talk to it whenever you want. Let's say you're driving over to a listing. Boom, copy and paste this prompt, set your phone to the side so you're not looking at your phone while you're driving. And now you're role playing live with AI as you're heading over to your listing. Let's say you want to create some reels for Instagram, right? Boom, or TikTok. You just copy and paste this, give it a topic. The prompt is already written for you, right? Let's say you just closed on a home. I think I someone before we press record said they just got a closing or something like that. Um, Copy and paste this prompt right here, right? All these prompts here were created with the Godfather prompt. And there's another prompt. Again, this is a listing description prompt right here. Let's say you got a new listing coming up, right? You have a marketing plan prompt, right? And so you can do so much. And so I want to actually get a volunteer. So, Crystal, I seen you whipping out your phone to try and steal something. Do you mind being my volunteer today? No worries.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, perfect, Crystal. Thank you so much. And for anyone that's wondering, oh my goodness, John, you went so fast. Please go back so I can take a photo. I'm going to be sending you all the prompts anyways. I already thought ahead. So just stick with me, pay attention. I'm going to be giving you all the prompts plus a whole bunch more for you guys, right? So this is my super top secret list of prompts here. Give me a second to share. All right, Crystal, can you see my screen?
Yep.
So everyone here that's in attendance will be getting this. So again, don't worry about taking photos. Just pay attention and try to understand how I'm working my way through these prompts, right? So we're going to be using this prompt here called creating a marketing plan, right? all the prompts are already listed out and titled for you. So when you guys do get this after the presentation, you could easily like find whichever prompt you need to use, and then open up ChatGPT, and we're just gonna copy and paste this prompt. Now, Crystal, here's what I'll need from you. Give me 3 to 5 topics that you would like to educate your clients on, your audience on.
Getting ready for like snowbirds. I live in Canada, so that's like an actual real thing.
Snowboards?
Snowbirds.
Snowbirds. Oh, snowbird. I've never heard of that. So that's would be interesting. All right, cool.
Um, Decorating for selling during the holidays.
And
And
holidays. All right, give me one more.
curb appeal in the snow.
Herb appeal in the snow. All right. Who is your target audience?
Sellers and seniors more, I guess.
Sellers and seniors, or senior sellers. Combine them both. What is the goal for your content that you're trying to make?
Probably engagement, education, and maybe like a lead or two because they're what they've received has been beneficial.
Perfect. What would you say your professional title is?
Chaos coordinator.
Chaos coordinator. I love it. Coordinator and real estate specialist, I guess. Real estate
Yeah,
agent.
I'm also a financial advisor and a home stager and professional organizer, so that's why I like just kind of
You just put
yeah.
jack of all trades. Boom. All right. And what would you say your specialty is in? Real estate?
Yeah.
Okay. In real estate. All right. And what's your market, by the way? I forgot to ask that.
Uh,
Sellers.
I'm in
Mm.
Canada, so
Which
like
part, if you don't mind?
Stony Plain, Alberta.
Stony Plain, like this?
No, Plain is AI. There you
Uh,
go. Yep.
Canada. All right, cool. And how many videos would you like to make a week?
3?
All right, boom. All right. So all we did now, the prompt was already written. We just filled in some blanks. Now, again, keep in mind, my chat GPT is trained on me. Chris, if you were to do this over on your end or anyone listening were to copy and paste this prompt, it'll be a lot more personalized because your chat GPT is trained on you guys already. But we're just going to copy and paste this. While this is working in the background, Crystal, we're going to go into step 2, right? In this magic vault of prompts here, there's a prompt that says short form video script, right? I'm going to copy this one and go right back into ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is going to be working its magic. Now, a lot of times people overthink what what they should talk about on social media. And so while ChatGPT is thinking, I'm going to hit on that really quickly. Your audience is always going to have the answers. So yes, you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with some content ideas, but it'd be best for you to start talking to your audience intentionally and asking them, what problems do they have? What questions are they looking for? What are some of the roadblocks that are getting in their way? What are the results that they want from a realtor, right? The more conversations, intentional conversations you have with your audience, the more easily you'll be able to come up with content ideas because you'll start seeing the gaps, right? If I talk to 100 sellers, right, and they all mention, hey, John, yeah, these snowbirds, right? Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. Can you help out? And it'd be wise to take that into consideration. Like, all right, if I talk to 100 people and all 100 are mentioning snowbirds, maybe a good chunk of my content should address that, right? Because there's clearly a demand for it. And so, yes, you can come up with ChatGPT ideas, but the best way to do this is, if I were you, Crystal, talk to some people, get some feedback, then put that into my ChatGPT, then use this prompt to help supercharge it. That would be the best combination if for those who want to go the extra mile. But with that being said, looky here, boom, right? We are now have our content calendar listed out in a table for those of us who are, very analytical and like everything organized. It has a date for us to post, the content idea for that day, the caption to go alongside with some hashtags, and the time to post, right? Takes all the guesswork, all the thinking out of it for you, right? So I'm just gonna list a couple ideas, right? We got video number 1. snowbird exit checklist for Stony Plain sellers. Another one, holiday decor that sells. We got curb appeal in the snow. Should you list before first snow? Senior safe holiday staging walkthrough. Driveway strategy for showings. Crystal, which one speaks to you, right? Out of all these ideas, do you see anyone?
Um, Maybe the decorating one.
All right, decorating, which one? The decor that sells.
Yeah,
Which one?
sure.
All right, cool. So one thing that a lot of people don't know in ChatGPT is if you highlight a specific portion, you can reply back specifically to that part. Right. So we're just gonna say ask ChatGPT. We're gonna say write a video script for this using the framework below. And then we're just gonna paste in the prompt that I highlighted from the little secret vault of mine. Now ChatGPT is gonna take that video and it's gonna create a script for us. So again, I think when it comes to content, a lot of people that I see struggle with social media, or at least struggle staying consistent, is because I like to think of it like this, right? A lot of people are familiar with the term of living paycheck to paycheck, and most people only think of it in terms of finances, right? When it comes to content creation, a lot of people are doing the same thing, right? They have no content stored in their bank. They have no content saved away in their bank. And so every day they have to show up and record a new video. And the moment they stop showing up to record, nothing gets posted. And then they go weeks, sometimes months without ever posting ever again. Whereas if you just sat down for maybe 30 minutes, right, and just planned out a bunch of videos, just like what we're doing right now, you could easily have 20, 30, 40, 50 videos you could batch record in one sitting, block off an afternoon, and that could be the rest of your content for the entire year, right? It doesn't have to be too hard. So Crystal, here's the script. I want you to rate this on a scale from 1 to 5. I'm going to read it, no editing, fresh off of ChatGPT, and let me know what you would think if you were to see this video on your social media feed. Is that cool? All right, cool. So let me read this. Let me take a deep breath. All right, let's get right into it. Your holiday decor is costing you showings. Bulky garland crowd rooms. What's that? Garlands crowd rooms. Shoot, whoops, I need to get better at reading. From the top, your holiday decor is costing you showings. Bulky garlands, crowd rooms, real flame scare buyer, and cord spaghetti is a trip hazard. In Stony Plain, early winter dusk, that's a deal killer. Instead, go low profile, go cordless, go slip safe. Low profile reefs and slimmer trees that don't swallow the room. LED flameless candles with warm lights and not real flames. And 3, non-slip runners and secured cords so storage feels safe, not stress. Make these swaps and your home looks bigger, photographs brighter at 4 p.m. and feel safer for every buyer, especially seniors. Safer tours lead to stronger offers. Now here's 3 things that you could do, right? Number 1, cord cleanup. Route every cord along the baseboard with flat covers, 1 hidden power bar behind the tree, and gaffer tape at crossings. 0 loops across walkways. Number 2, light that sells. Use warm 2700K LEDs, evergreen plus cream and gold accents, and a lamp triangle in the living room. Open shears to snow bounces and add free light. And number 3, last but not least, senior safe entry. You want to have heated doormats, a shoveled 4-foot path, reflective address numbers, a boot tray, and bench at the door. Scent with a small bowl of cinnamon pine cone nut sprays. Right. If you want my senior safe holiday staging checklist and shopping links, comment holiday and I'll DM it over to you. Save this. You can set up in under an hour. 1 to 5, no edits. What you think? Be totally honest.
That's like a 7.
Oh,
Like
that's over 5. Sheesh.
I'm just happy. And it's something that yeah, I don't have to think. You know that sounds terrible.
It takes all the guesswork out of it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, again, it's back to physics, right? An object in motion stays in motion. This helps get the ball rolling when it comes to idea. Coming up with different ideas is very hard. Coming up with what to say can be very hard, especially for those of us who aren't trained media professionals, right? No one got into real estate thinking we'd be on camera all the time. And now we have to learn this whole new skill of presenting ourselves online, communicating through a camera, even when no one's watching. This is a lot more fun. I have 40 people here with me on the Zoom call, but most of the time when we're creating content, we're just us, right? And so this helps kind of alleviate a lot of that, it takes a lot of the guesswork, a lot of the thinking out of it. And just a quick sidebar, if you do struggle creating content on camera, uh, find a friend. It could be another realtor, it could be a videographer, it could be your children, right? And just have them sit behind the camera, right? And then just have a conversation with them, right? Podcasting is a very popular medium for content creation. So I'm not saying go start a podcast. I'm just saying have a friend next to you that you can talk to and feel comfortable talking to you, and then have the camera facing you while you're talking to that person and just press record. That way, the camera is out the frame. You're not even focused on it. You're just focused on telling your friend about all the amazing stuff you know, and it helps make everything so much easier. So let me know in the chat. And Crystal, it was that helpful? It was okay, perfect. You want to
I'm
make
like
sure.
half tempted to be like, can you just copy and paste all of that and just email it directly to me?
Will
I
do.
don't
I
even
got you,
have to do
Crystal.
it myself.
Yeah, no, I'll send it over for you. I got you. No worries. All right. With that being said, let's get right into the presentation. Let's get right into this. I think it's this one right here. All right, so that's pretty much it. So if you want these prompts, scan this QR code. Again, everyone at a desk, scan this QR code really quickly. It's gonna go over and send you all the prompts. That are actually like 5 quick questions, if I'm not mistaken. Um, 5 or 6 quick questions. So we gotta hurry up because I think how are we doing on time, Amanda? We're doing good.
Yeah, we're good. I think we're good. We still have
Okay.
about like 11:30 to 12:30, so you're solid.
Okay, perfect. So scan that QR code, answer the 5 or 6 quick questions that I'll ask you, and then it'll send you all the prompts that I just did with Crystal, the video scripts prompt, and all the prompts that I mentioned before, plus all the bunch of other prompts I have in that little Google Doc vault that I mentioned earlier, right? I'll give you another 3 seconds. I'll give you 5. I'll be nice today. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. All right, cool. So we're going to get right into secret number 2 now. All right. For anyone that wasn't able to fill that out, feel free to fill it out afterwards, right? Or feel free to ask Amanda. She'll gladly send over the links afterwards. But let's get right into the number one belief that is stunting your growth, right? Back about, I think, 60 years ago it was. We got this guy over here. This is the first ever moon landing. The US got the first person on the moon. And this is back where Apollo 11. And a lot of people don't know, but this was the computer that actually got the Apollo 11 to the moon. It was about the size of a microwave and weighed about 70 pounds, right? So the computer that got the first ever human being, the first ever person from Earth to the moon was about this big, right? Size of a microwave and 70 pounds. Keep that in mind, right? Most of us here all have a mobile phone. Let me know in the chat how many people here have a phone. I should see 39 people in the chat. How many people here have okay, there we go. I'm just making sure you're still with me. Cool. So this was a photo of the iPhone 16. I think the iPhone 17 just released. But this iPhone 16 right here was about over 2 million times more powerful. It had over 2 million times more computational power than the computer that got the Apollo 11 to the moon. When I heard this, it blew my mind. So I started playing around and thinking, all right, what would it take to have a computer back in 1960s that was just as strong as today's mobile phones that we walk around with and take for granted, right? And so if we wanted to get an iPhone 16 computational power into a computer back in the 60s, it would need to be about 20 stories, which is about a quarter of this Empire State Building, right? It would have to weigh millions and millions of tons of pounds. So the phones that we're walking around with today could take people to the moon and back 100,000 times. And the a reason I share that is because I hear so many people say, but John, I'm not tech savvy. Like, John, I don't get like the younger generation, my niece, my nephew, or my daughter, my kids, like my grandkids. They're so savvy when it comes to social media. They're so savvy when it comes to technology. I'm not like them, John. You don't understand. I'm not tech savvy. When I got into the business, it wasn't like this. I hear this all the time, everywhere I go across the country. And I came to the realization a couple months ago, you are all the most tech savvy person in your entire generation, in your entire bloodline, not including people younger than you, right? It's so easy to compare ourselves to the generations after us, right? The younger ones, and like, oh, but I'm not as smart as them, or I'm not as tech savvy as them. But what about your parents? What about your parents' parents? What about your great grandparents and everyone before that? When you look backwards and start to reflect, you are all actually living in the most technologically advanced time of human existence, at least recorded human existence. And so we're actually all a lot more tech savvy that we gave ourselves credit for. The problem is comparison. Right? We're comparing ourselves to the one or two generations after us instead of comparing ourselves to the hundreds of thousands of generations that came before us, right? So yeah, maybe your kids get technology a little faster, right? Maybe your grandkids are a lot more savvier, but what about everyone that came before you? And so you are all tech savvy from here on out. And I'm going to actually do a bonus round. So for anyone that's not driving, we're just going to go rapid fire right here. I just need you to answer yes or no in the chat, right? So question number one, I am not tech savvy. Does that belief serve you? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Someone said, yeah, Alpha, you're banned. All right. All right. Question number two. Question number two. Does it serve your goals? Does I am not tech savvy serve your goals? Not sure. Okay. Okay. Thank you for being honest, Kimmy. Does I'm not tech savvy, does that belief serve your business? Okay. I got these last couple ones are a little more hard hitting, so bear with me. Does I'm not tech savvy serve your clients? Is that what you're going around bragging to your clients when you share your value proposition? When you go to that listing table, are you bragging about how not tech savvy you are? Hmm. Okay. All right. Last one here. It's fine when I have older clients. That's fair. Good answer, Kimmy. Good answer. Last but not least, I'm not tech savvy. Does that serve your family? Right. A lot of us get into business to provide for our families, to provide that, life by design, we like to mention, right? We get into business to fund the family vacations, right? I'm not tech only when I tell them to get out. You guys are a funny crowd. Only when I tell them to get off their phone. All right, cool. So from here on out, this is your new mindset, right? I am tech savvy, right? You may not be the most tech savvy, but it doesn't matter because what I just showed you in the last example, you know how to use these AI tools properly. Everything that you once thought was hard can be done in a matter of seconds, right? Crystal got a whole content calendar in approximately 2.5 minutes, right? And can go back and use video scripts, right? And to add on to that, I'll share a personal story just so I can hit this home. A lot of people think because I'm young and because I talk about AI that I am some tech wizard, right? I wasn't growing up thinking about computers. I played football, I played basketball, I was playing video games with my guys. There was no computer club or any Lego thing or anything. I was not in any STEM groups growing up, right? I learned how to use AI, got good at it, and realized I could use it for so many things. So let me share with you an example. I was flying down to Miami this year for a speaking engagement. And for whatever reason, for the last year or so, I always had trouble connecting my laptop to the airplane Wi-Fi. Didn't know what was wrong. I would just always get an error message. Didn't matter if I flew Delta, flew JetBlue, American Airlines, didn't matter. My laptop would never connect to Wi-Fi. I don't know what got into me that way, that trip down to Miami. But I was like, you know what? ChatGPT, you can take photos on and it can analyze your photos. And I knew this already. I just never thought of it. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just take a photo on my phone of what my laptop is saying, the error message, and then see if ChatGPT could help me connect to Wi-Fi. I kid you not, within 5 minutes, ChatGPT gave me some code. I copied and pasted it into my laptop, reset it, and when I turned my laptop back on, the connect to Wi-Fi screen was right there waiting for me. 5 minutes. I'm not an information tech. I'm not an IT support guy. I'm not an Apple Care specialist. I don't know anything about Apple Care, right? But I knew how to use ChatGPT effectively. And that tool then helped me fix a problem that I had for years, right, in a matter of 5 minutes. And now I've probably been on 5 or 6 flights since then. And I've never had an issue connecting to Wi-Fi ever since. So again, we are all tech savvy, and even if we're not, these tools can help us figure out things that we once thought were hard, right? So that is secret number two. The number one belief that's stunting your growth is I'm not tech savvy, but we all agree today that we are, right? And even if we're not, we could chat GPT it, right? Now let's get into secret number three. How to transform ChatGPT into the world's greatest personal assistant. So here's the biggest problem I see when it comes to AI is a lot of people are trying to get AI to sound like them, to write like them, to talk like them, to be you'll probably get AI speakers to come and show you the AI cloning stuff where you can go make an AI avatar that looks like you, whatever, and to make your videos. And that stuff all sounds great in theory, right? All that stuff sounds great. It sounds like you're getting a lot of automation, but I want to share with you why that is a problem. So let me know in the chat. Comment if you were licensed back in 2021. How many people had their real estate license? Denise had it. Um, all right. Okay, so we have some vets in the room. Everyone was licensed here for the most part since 2004. There we go. All right, cool. So you all remember this, right? We all remember what happened with Zillow. Zillow back in 2021 had this whole iBuying movement. They lost $250 million of their of revenue in quarter three 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and had to shut down like 30% of their staff because the whole iBuying thing completely failed. And all the realtors were celebrating. What they didn't tell you, iBuying was actually on the rise. If you look at the stats here, this is just from major metropolitan cities, just from quarter over quarter, from Q1 to Q2 of 2021. Most of these numbers were more than double, right? From Q1 to Q2 2021, most of these major metropolitan cities doubled, meaning iBuying was quickly, very quickly gaining popularity, right? For Christopher, iBuying is pretty much, I'm not sure if Canada had to deal with it, but pretty much people were buying houses through Zillow, sight unseen. And instead of working with a realtor, they were pretty much working with Zillow's AI or whatever tool or whatever. But yeah, Zillow was trying to get rid of a realtors. They wanted to get rid of the middleman, right? Now, a year later, ChatGPT came out. So keep that in mind, right? A year before ChatGPT came out, Zillow had this whole iBuying thing, trying to get rid of realtors, right? Now, I was starting to do some thinking, right? I was doing some thinking. I was like, well, what if, right? Everyone here, or at least most of us here, if you didn't watch this movie right here, you wouldn't get the reference. But this guy snapped his fingers and half of the universe was wiped out, right? For anyone that didn't watch the movie. What if Zillow tried to do the whole iBuying thing again, this time with AI, this time with ChatGPT, right? What if they tried to put $1 billion into AI and do this all from scratch with all the data that they gained from the first time around? Now, I read a stat somewhere that said 70% of realtors in the year 2024 didn't sell a single house. Another 18, if I'm not mistaken, percent sold between 1 and 19. So if you think about it, about 80% of realtors aren't producing at all. And so if Zillow tried to do the whole iBuying thing again, this time with AI at every step of the process, they could very easily wipe out at least half the realtors in the market today, which is a very scary stat when you start thinking about it. So how do we start positioning ourselves to make sure that never happens, right? It's by using AI, by going all in. And so, how do we use ChatGPT properly? So, in secret number one, I told you about the Godfather prompt. That is going to give you the best bang for your buck in terms of getting effective responses. But if you want to make it more personalized, here's what you need to do, right? I want you to think of ChatGPT not like a clone of yourself, not like another carbon copy of you. Think of it as like, let's say you took all the information on Google, right? And then you took your best friend and it kind of came together and had a baby. That's what I want you to treat ChatGPT as. Not another version of you, not a copy of you. I want you to treat it as if it were your best friend that got hooked up to Google, right? Because that's essentially what it is. It's not here to replace you. It's here to help you with what you do. And so let me take you back in time really quickly. Back when ChatGPT first released, it was again very robotic, very generic. Even if you knew how to write good prompts, there was still so much lacking because you couldn't train it at all, which was a big area for improvement for them. And then in 2023, they released this feature called custom instructions, right? And this feature allowed you to train ChatGPT on how you wanted it to respond. And it also allowed you to give ChatGPT up to 1,500 characters that you could use to tell it about yourself and your business. So this was a first step in making these models more personalized. And then fast forward a year later, ChatGPT announced this new feature called memory, right? And this feature allowed ChatGPT, kind of like what it says, to have a memory bank that I could store based on the stuff that you talk about, right? So now ChatGPT can become even more trained on the things that you do, on who you are and who you serve, on how your business, right? And then in this year, in 2025, ChatGPT probably had launched their best update to date, reference chat history. So now ChatGPT could pull from any and all conversation. This came out a few months ago. And so if you have these three features turned on, and you can find them all in the same exact spot in your settings, you go to personalization and you can find all three of these features. When they're turned on and working together, it allows ChatGPT again to become that personal assistant that you dreamed of, right? And if you have a VA or an assistant, an admin of some sort, and they're using ChatGPT and they have these settings turned on, it's just gonna like multiply, right, exponentially, right? Because now you're both gonna be using ChatGPT and it's gonna be super trained on what you have going on. So that is secret number three, right? How do you transform the world's ChatGPT into the world's greatest personal assistant? You go to settings, you go to personalization, and you make sure those three features are turned on: custom instructions, memory, reference chat history. Once those three are turned on, you're golden, right? So that's pretty much just do a quick recap of what we covered today, right? We got secret number one, the Godfather prompt. Secret number two is you are all tech savvy, right? From here on out, after this presentation, you are all tech savvy. And then secret number three, make sure you have the personalization settings turned on. So as we bring this to a close, I got two last things, right? Two last things. First things first, right? This upcoming Monday, I have a boot camp that I'm working on, right? It's going to be 4 weeks where I'm pretty much going to be doing exactly what I did with Crystal for all of you. Now, I have a special coupon code. If you use code Amanda, you'll get $200 off. So I'll put the link for that in the chat after the presentation when we do Q&A. But I'll get more into that later. The last thing I want to leave you with is let me know in the chat how many people know what this phone here is or had one of these phones. Let me know how many people had one of these Nokia phones back in the day. Someone said I had all of them. There we go. Nikki's laughing. Sarah had one. Okay, cool. Good. So, not to show my age or anything, but I actually had to Google a photo of these because I didn't know what Nokia phones looked like back in the day. So I had to Google this photo. But Nokia, for everyone that knows them, they were the number one selling mobile manufacturer in the entire world, and they had the number one selling mobile phone in the entire world at the same time. They were the biggest of the biggest company ever. Like when you talk about big companies, like you don't get much bigger than Nokia in its prime. And despite that, Nokia had this problem, right? They thought that because they had success for so long, right, they can continue doing things the way they've done it in the past, and they will continue working because they're on top of the world. No one could stop them until this guy came out, right? Steve Jobs. In 2007, he released the first ever iPhone, right? Nokia sales started to plummet. They started to let go a lot of people, and they weren't able to keep up with the changes. They didn't think it would affect them because, again, they were Nokia. They were on top of the world. Everyone had a Nokia. And originally, what ended up happening is in 2014, they ended up getting bought out by Microsoft. And in one of the final speeches, the former CEO said this, right? We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. Right. Someone said here, I forget who, but they've been in the business. I think it was Kimmy, right? Been in the business since 2004. Amazing, right? That is lovely. And we are in a time that is unprecedented. AI is out. AI is getting faster. It's getting even more better than we can imagine. And consumers are going online before they ever reach out to a realtor. You don't believe me? Read the NAR reports. They come out every year. I think 70% of people start their home buying search online before talking to a realtor. And now what people are doing is people are asking ChatGPT who's a good realtor in this area, and they're not even Googling it anymore. They're asking ChatGPT for realtor references, and ChatGPT is popping up with people and recommendations, right? And so with the industry changing, the only way to solidify your place, the only way to proof your business, not just in 2025, because we're already ending, but in 2026 and beyond, right? Is to really get in front of this technology. And again, I'm not telling you to use AI to become another version of you. I'm just use AI to do the busy stuff that doesn't matter, because human connection is going to be the most important thing as we end this year and really get into 2026 and this whole AI thing becomes crazy. And so I know I talked about a lot of things today, but I want to reassure you and leave you all with this one final closing message. And it's this: it's that AI won't replace you. Someone using AI will. Thank you guys. That is my last message. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I know I covered a lot, but if you remember that one piece, you'll be golden.
That is so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, information overload. All of this is incredible. We all need to take it and use it. John, how can we stay in touch with you? I know you're in our Team Legacy family, which is such a blessing. If they wanted to reach out to you, or I don't know if you do coaching or plug into some of your trainings, when they scan that QR code, does that kind of put them inside your community, or what's next for
Yeah,
us?
great. So the QR code is going to give you a bunch of freebies, right? We're going to get access to the prompts and a bunch of other cool stuff. The boot camp, I'll just touch it really briefly. So I'm pretty much going to be 4 weeks. Week one, we're going to be setting up your chat GPT. So I talked about the personalization setting, the secret number 3. That's going to be what we're covering this upcoming Monday. Week two, we're pretty much going to do what we just did with Crystal. So everyone will be getting that content calendar, right? Everyone will be getting a personalized strategy for them. Week three, we're going to be covering the power of repurposing content, how to take one video and use AI to turn it into 4, 5, 10, 20 clips, right? Get more bang for our bucks. And then the week four, we're going to cover out how to use AI to automate your social media. I always say, if you know what's being posted today, you're not scheduled out far enough in advance, right? You should have people ask you, hey, I liked your post, and you have to ask them which one, right? Because you don't know what got posted. I think right now I'm scheduled out to like January 15th or 10th or something like that. So I don't have to record another video for the rest of this year. I'm going to, but it's by choice, not by necessity, right? But that's gonna be the 4 weeks. The whole goal is to create a simple, non-techie social media system, right? That can run on autopilot. That's I think what everyone is trying to find, all these crazy new tools to go viral and all this stuff. That is great, and there's people for that. Again, if you learn anything from me today, I'm big on keeping it simple. So if that's something that you're interested in and simplicity, feel free to check it out. And then use code Amanda.
I think that's so great because we learn how to be realtors, and then we realize we've got to be these social media gurus that we
You got
didn't.
to be a media personality. You got to be professional interviewer. You have to be great on camera. You have to be on, all the time. Yeah, there's no escape for a realtor.
Okay, so if it's a boot camp, it's different than a class, right? Like they're going
Yeah,
to
it's a boot camp. It's 4 weeks. 4 weeks, 1 hour each week, and you can also get a complimentary +1. So for those of you that have an admin or assistant, feel free to bring it on. I'm trying to limit it to like 10, 12 people. So again, that's not trying to have any artificial scarcity or anything. There's only so much time for questions. Like for today, I went for an hour, and I'll stay after for a little bit for questions. But once you get more than 10 or so people and everyone has questions, it's like a 1 hour class turns into a whole half day, getaway. So I'm trying to keep it more intimate.
amazing. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for John?
And that could be anything. Yeah. Any questions on anything I covered, anything AI that you heard? I know a lot of updates come out all the time. A lot of people said this is fantastic. Yeah. The price in US, with code Amanda, it's 199 in US, Crystal. Yeah. And you still get the +1 at no extra charge. So if you have an admin, Crystal, or an assistant, or kids or something, who a lot of people just invite someone. Sometimes they just split it with another realtor and they just go 50-50.
That's smart. I like that you break it
Yeah.
down for real estate agents. A lot of people are like, I'm techie, look how smart I am. And then I'm like, you're not, I don't speak that language at all. And so if you go on and say this is exactly how you copy and paste, I can copy and paste.
Denise had a question. Best chat GPT, and if I join, would they do the memory? Um, the best model of chat GPT, I'm assuming you're asking. So I'll share my screen really quickly and answer that because that could get a little complicated. So let me share my screen. All right. So if you're looking here, right, in chat GPT, um, in this top left-hand corner on your computer, right, if you click on it, you'll see the different chat GPT models, right? Um, they're pretty much all kind of the same thing. If I'm being totally honest with you, my favorite model was always 4.0. 4.0 was great. I think that just the quality of responses it was better. ChatGPT 5 has received a lot of backlash since it released. If you go on any like forum or anything like that, a lot of people are actually very disappointed with ChatGPT 5. They think it was rushed. They think it wasn't as big of an improvement. They should have got back to the drawing board. So it's cool or whatever. Again, once you write good prompts, it'll really help out and like take you 90% of the way there. So don't spend any time thinking about this all that much. Just use ChatGPT 5 Auto, and that'll get you most of the way there. Um, the second way you might have asked that question is which ChatGPT plan is the best. So I'll break that down in case you were asking that, because I know a lot of people ask. Um, so there's three plans for ChatGPT, right? We have Plus, Business, and Pro. So I'll break down Pro first. So Pro is the most expensive model. It's $200 a month. The benefits of using Pro is you pretty much get unlimited access to the newest and best ChatGPT models that come out. You'll get first access to those models. Um, I personally wouldn't recommend that unless you were some sort of AI programmer or developer, or if you had a tech person on staff, right? Most of us we don't need that at all. So I'm not going to get too deep into it. I don't use it myself, and I'm the quote unquote AI coach or whatever. You don't really need it. Plus and business are both extremely well, and you still get access to all the stuff. What ChatGPT does, they release new features and then they just release it to everybody months later. So if you want to be first access, by all means, go for it, but it's definitely not a necessity at all. So I'll really get into the plus and the business, right? Plus and business are pretty much the exact same plan. And even though it says 25 per month, what they don't have here, it's 25 per month per user, minimum of 2 users. So it's actually $50 a month, not 25. Now, the difference between these two models really is security and uniformness or uniformity. Uniformity? What's the word I mean? Is it uniformity?
That's a word.
Yeah. Okay. So uniformity. So if you have like, now again, I would recommend business to like a company. For example, I did some consulting for a insurance brokerage here in Connecticut. They have a team of 30, right? And they have a lot of standardized templates and documents that they all use, the sales agents and all the people that do the back end work. So for them, this would be something that's super valuable. But again, like if you don't have like this would be more so for like a broker owner, like a team leader, right, who owns a brokerage and has a bunch of agents that are using contracts and stuff like that, not the individual person. Or if you have like an admin or an assistant or an ops manager that you've worked very closely with and did a lot of collaborative work with, then I would maybe recommend business. In terms of base features, they're pretty much the same thing. The business plan just offers more privacy, more security, more uniformity, and it allows you to collaborate a little easier between people on your team. But aside from that, I'm on the plus plan, as you can see. Been on this plan since it pretty much came out. And then you have the free plan. In terms of quality of responses, you're going to get great responses if you do what I talked about in secret number one. Use that Godfather prompt. That'll help you write great prompts. And with great prompts, you'll be able to get great results regardless of whatever plan you're on. I went a little long-winded, but hopefully that made sense. Cool.
That was awesome. Thank you, John. Yeah, the $20 plan, they do my virtual staging too. Like it's incredible for 20 bucks.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, y'all reach out to him. Use that link that we put in the chat box. If you guys can't find it, just email me because I emailed all of you the invite, and we also have the Eventbrite, and I'm going to try to share all of your contact with John. But it's super nice to be in his ecosystem because I forget about what to do and what I should be doing for marketing, and he sends me updates and reminders and prompts and ideas all the time, and they're all free, and it's just so impactful for my business. So thank you, John, for being here, and thank you for always giving back to the community.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
We'll see y'all soon. Reach out for anything. Thank you, John. Bye, y'all.